Are we on?
I'm
What was that?
We should be, but I don't see it here.
Oh, I saw the icon.
Okay, I see
It popped up. Okay.
being sent to the third party.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to start. All right, welcome everybody. This is Lance Luke and Martin Pea. We're here today to talk about an interesting subject regarding building foundation problems. And thank you very much for joining us. We're actually streaming live on Zoom as well as Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Hopefully, I guess. I don't know. There's no way for me to check. But anyway, we got people from all over the US and even people from around different parts of the world. And foundation problems exist not only in the United States, not only in Hawaii, but all over the world. And we're here to give you some information about foundation problems and how to fix it. So, fixing building foundation problems, that's the topic for today. Neglecting foundation repairs will lead to costly repairs and safety hazards. Let me, and we're bringing this to you from the National Building Expert, Ask the Building Expert series that we've been doing for the past 3 years. And this webinar is presented by Construction Management Inspection, which is a construction management engineering company located in Honolulu, Hawaii. That's my brief commercial there. Um, let's go right into it now. And if you guys have any questions, just feel free to post it on our Zoom platform or Facebook. I'm not sure if we have people monitoring LinkedIn and YouTube, but you can feel free to post or make your comments, and then after the webinar, we can get to it. We answer every single post and read every single comment, so we appreciate your participation, joining in on the conversation here. What's the causes of foundation problems? So before I get to fixing it, let's talk about the different causes of problems with foundations. One would be tree roots, and I was in San Diego, and I visited this music building. They had different artifacts from around the world, and it was amazing how much damage the tree roots caused to the sidewalks, and couldn't see too much of the actual building foundation, but it could happen. So tree roots are one of the causes. The other cause is earthquake, seismic activity, volcanoes erupting, serious earthquakes from underground could cause a lot of damage to buildings, as we seen, before in uh, not only parts of the U.S. but parts of the world, in Japan, India, and other parts of the country, different countries. Also, a lot of water, rainfall, and flooding could cause havoc to your building foundation. And the other cause is man-made. It could be poor construction practices, not following the engineering plans, not following the proper design, kind of deviating from that, and later on there's cracks or foundation problems. A good example would be the Millennium Building in San Francisco, which I inspected several times, maybe 3 or 4 times, and it was not necessarily the construction, but it was more of a design issue, and they're still trying to resolve it today. Other causes would be soil condition. Let's say you have bad soil and you build your house on the bad soil. Chances are you're going to have some foundation problems due to the soil condition, and that could be a factor. Slope erosion could be another factor. Also, oceanfront property that's on the beach, beachfront, oceanfront. You have a lot of wave action causing erosion of the sand, and next thing you know, the house is falling into the ocean. You probably heard recently or saw the photos of very expensive houses on the mainland, and they basically are on cliffs, and the cliffs are eroding, and next thing you know, the house is going to start falling down the cliff. So these are multi-million-dollar houses we're talking about. And then also inadequate drainage. So during heavy rain or big storm, if it's pouring a lot of water against your house foundation and it doesn't slope away, the water's just going to collect around the foundation, and that's not a good sign. That's very bad design and construction. So here's some red flags or tips that you could look for, signs in your building, in your house, of settlement or failure issues. One could be if you see cracks in walls and floors. Let's say you have a concrete slab and there's you see cracks or heaving. Sometimes your finish product, you already have carpet or flooring, so you can't see the cracks. But if you take off the flooring, you know, the cracks are visible. Or all of a sudden now your tiles, your flooring, it starts humping and you have a difference in elevation. Okay, that could be caused by cracking on your concrete foundation, causing your flooring to move, crack, deflect, and it's not level. Other telltale signs, you have doors in your house and windows that are sticking or you can't close it. It could be a settlement issue. It could also be maybe the building material wasn't that good and a lot of moisture, it sucks up water, and then all of a sudden now it's so warped where it sticks. So it could happen to your doors, windows. Okay. Older houses, especially in Hawaii, that were built on raised foundation. It wasn't built on a concrete slab. It was built raised up. So there's a crawl space under the house. You have 4x4 posts, and when the posts start moving, the house settles, and then your doors, windows, it's hard to close, hard to open. Your cabinet doors get sticky, and so that's another settlement red flag. And then uneven floors. You have wood flooring or laminate flooring. If when it was installed, it was fairly level, and then now over time it becomes uneven. You know, that could be due to a foundation issue. It could be due to if you have moisture, or let's say you have a flood and your laminate, which is not solid and waterproof, it sucks up the water and then it starts you know, expanding, warping, and that causes unevenness. So it may not be the foundation issue. It may be just because it got wet and now the product is warping. Hardwood floors, not too much. when it gets wet, it's usually still pretty solid. Also, look at cracks and buckling of your foundation walls. If you see retaining walls or the wall of your house cracking, that's not a good sign. So if you look at the image on the bottom, you see the crack running vertical pretty much all the way through the brick. That's a settlement crack due to a foundation issue. You have broken and leaking pipes. Sometimes your pipes that are underground uh, have a pinhole leak, and it starts spraying water, soaking water in the soil. So even if you have good soil, if you have a lot of water, guess what? Now you have like a sinkhole starting. Now, if you have bad soil and it gets filled with water, it's even worse. So another cause of foundation problems could be broken and uh, leaking pipes. Okay, so that's something to be aware of. Like I mentioned, doors and windows hard to close. That could be a telltale sign of foundation problems or settlement. Now, your house doesn't have to settle drastically to have your doors and windows binding or uh, kind of hard to close. Okay, so there could be a slight shifting could cause the a sliding window or a door to you have a hard time opening and closing it. Okay, so pay attention to those signs. Now let's talk about how to repair um, foundation problems. So the idea is you find the most suitable repair approach for your particular problem. So there's what we call piling, um, and piling is basically either these long rods or it could be um, long concrete piers or piles that could look like telephone poles or utility poles, but instead of made out of wood, it's made out of concrete. Now, that's one way. Another way is to dig a hole, fill it with rebar, and then fill it with concrete. Okay, so there's different methods. The piling method is you're drilling or you're pounding these metal rods or concrete piers into the ground to reinforce the foundation. Another method is to do a reinforced concrete overlay. You already have your foundation out of concrete and you add more concrete to it, and that's called an overlay. The other method is called slab jacking, where you use a machine and you basically drill right at your foundation, and um, it acts as like a car jack. You know, when you have like a flat tire, you use a jack and you kind of pump it up and you lift your car up so you can replace your flat tire. Slab jacking is pretty much similar, except it's a more technical device that they use to a lot of pounds per square inch. Use it to lift up the foundation of the house, okay, or building. Another method is soil injection, where you drill holes in the soil and you inject the soil, and when the soil gets mixed in with the chemicals that are injected, what happens is the soil changes the chemical analysis, and it becomes harder soil. So you have like soft soil, you inject the chemicals, and then when it gets mixed in with the soil becomes harder, and therefore you have a better foundation because of the soil condition. And then you have these micropiles, which are small piles that look like a corkscrew, and it's basically drilled into the dirt or through the foundation. Normally, it's drilled at the perimeter of the foundation, and that's your support to support the foundation. So I have seen all of these methods used in repairs and from houses to bigger commercial buildings. And if you take a look at um, the slab jacking or micropile image, if you have a house or building that you have a lot of yard space where you can bring equipment in, then that's what you can do, right? Now, what happens in a case where it's a condo building and you can't get equipment in, right? What do you do? Okay, so there's methods that of soil injection where you go into one unit, right? And normally the foundation problems occur at the units that are on the first floor, right? It doesn't necessarily affect the second floor unless it's a bigger problem. So there's no access. So we go into one condo unit and there's a grid that's laid out, based on the square footage of the unit and the areas that need to be fixed. So these are the units that had severe cracking, buckling, where you can hardly walk in the unit because the slab is so unlevel. It's not even. So we lay out a grid and then we drill holes in certain locations, and then the holes are used to inject the chemicals, and that's called soil injection. So in circumstances where there's no room, we do it from the inside. And of course, the people have to move out because it's basically doing work in the unit. They can't be there while the work's done because they're going to get in the way. So that's just the downside. And basically, that's the conclusion in a nutshell. There's different ways to fix foundation problems, the different causes of foundation problems. The best thing to do would be to consult an expert to come to your property or building and take a look. Now, sometimes it may not be due to a foundation problem, or the situation may be due to a slight foundation problem that's easy to fix. Now, fix might be, you know what, it's not that bad. Just observe it. Let's wait a year or two, come back, inspect it, and take a look at it, right? Now, if it's major, then it has to be dealt with sooner than later. So the last condo building that I worked on, there were 2 units on the ground floor that had major cracking, and one of them had carpet, the other one had like laminate, but it was pretty easy to see that there was a problem. So the fix on that was we took off the floor covering, and there were major cracks on the concrete slab, major cracks where you could fit like 2 or 3 quarters taped together inside the crack. That's how big the crack was, and very uneven. So in certain areas, we had to demolish the concrete and pour new concrete. And then in other areas, we could inject, do a soil injection. So in one of the units, we had to pretty much demolish the entire concrete slab and start all over again, because that's how bad it was. But you don't want to do that if you're not treating the soil. So we had to demolish the concrete slab, treat the soil, and then pour a new slab back. and the cost is not cheap. I think it was probably 100,000 or something like that. But you don't want to pour the concrete slab new and then not treat the soil because you're going to have the same problem again. So it was kind of a major situation. The unit owners had to move out for a couple of months while the work was, going on. And then after the concrete slab, then you got all your finish work. You got your detail, drywall, and door frames and things like that. So it's pretty costly. So yeah, it's best to get your engineers to take a look and see. I'm going to be working on another townhouse project where they have soil problems, and it's a 2-story townhouse. The major work is going to be done on the first floor, but the second floor is going to be affected too, and it's going to be drywall cracks and drywall repair, painting, and all that to finish it after the major work's done. So I'll take some questions a little later. Let me go through here. What you missed, we've given webinars for the past 3 years on all kind of different construction and building related subjects, from roofing, electrical, plumbing, concrete spalling repair. We talked about the Florida building collapse, hurricane ties, painting, waterproofing. The list goes on and on. All our webinars, we record it. They're available on demand. You don't need a Netflix account or anything. You go to our website and you select which one you want to watch and have fun. And it's very interesting. You can learn a lot. And we have a whole bunch. I'll give you the website domain name in a little while. And what's coming up? So today we talked about foundation. Next month, we're going to be talking about water issues, managing water intrusion, how to repair leaks and make your building safe. And after that, condo remodeling, we're going to be talking about design, application to execution. And then our next webinar is we talk about different types of engineers for your construction project. So there's not just one type of engineer. There's many different engineers that do different things, from electrical, mechanical, structural, civil. There's a whole bunch, and I'll be talking about that. Also, another webinar is fire sprinklers. Who needs it? There's talk about the cost and whether we want to install it on high-rise buildings or not. And then after that, the 10 costly condo renovation projects. And we're talking about capital improvement projects for common areas. So roofing, concrete spalling, painting, plumbing, electrical, and so forth, fire alarm system. Then after that, construction terminology. What's the mumbo jumbo? What's the jargon? What are these? So if you're on a job site and you hear contractors talking, or you're at the home improvement store and someone's talking with the worker and you can't understand what they're saying, well, I'm gonna clear that up with some of these technical construction jargon that's used, even some engineering terms. After that is the history of major disasters in Hawaii. And we're going to be talking about hurricanes, tsunami, maybe earthquakes. I'm not sure, but it's going to be very interesting. And then after that, we're switching gears and getting into more real estate stuff, smart condo management, asset care, legal rights. I'm involved as an expert witness on many cases involving condos where the condo unit owners are suing their own association and property management company. So I'd like to share some information about that. And then after that, it's Real Estate 101, licensing, ethics, and AI marketing. And I just threw that in to help realtors. Okay, so that's what's coming up as far as our webinars. But I want to let you know that we have, if you're located and live in Hawaii, especially in Honolulu on the island of Oahu, we have a building expo. It's called the Building Facilities and Property Management Expo, and it's on for 2 days, Wednesday and Thursday this week, which is March 6th and 7th. In fact, after this webinar, I have to go and start setting up my booth and all that. If you are available, I would say show up. It's a very good show. The other thing is I'm giving a seminar on Wednesday at 8 a.m. The seminars are free, but you have to sign up. You have to actually go to NBC and register, and they'll give you a badge for admission into the trade show. Then you can attend whatever seminar sessions you want for free. So my topic is called Avoid the Contractor Ripoff. But watered down version would be Nail It, How to Team Up with Your Contractor. So if you're available, I would be happy to have you attend. We're going to have a lot of fun. I already have a 15-page handout that's in color, and it's going to be given to all the attendees. Plus, every attendee to my seminar will get a free book on working with a contractor. And that book was just recently published on Amazon. If you want to buy it, it's on Amazon for sale, $14.95. If you want to get a free book, attend my webinar. If you can't attend the webinar, reach out, and then maybe we'll send you a free ebook, a PDF. Okay, so that's what's happening. Okay, so here's our website, askbuildingexpert.now.site. We have so many things on the website. It's getting overloaded because we keep adding to it. Like I mentioned, we have all our webinar videos on demand. We have our takeaways, which copies of our PowerPoint. We have free books that you can get. We have our expert websites. So for each building component, we have a separate website. Now, I have a generic website for my company, hawaiibuildingexpert.com. But we have expert websites for each basically component, and then also different interesting other websites. So for instance, we have a separate website on concrete spalling, roofing, fire life safety, cast iron piping. We have a whole bunch, and then we also have separate websites for contractor licensing, building permits, and things like that. So, I mean, it's like in the old days, you had Encyclopedia Britannica and all that. In today's day, we have askbuildingexpert.now.site. And so we want to be I think we're the leading provider in free information on building and construction. So take a look and give us your comments, see what you think. By the way, if you visit our website, you can get a free ebook, How Safe Is Your Building, that I wrote. So we're here at the Q&A. So you got questions, I got answers. Now on the screen, my name, Lance Luke, phone number 808-422-2132. If I don't answer, leave a message and I'll get to you. Email lanceluke@hawaiibuildingexpert.com. So I appreciate you guys attending. and I want to open it up for Q&A. If you're on our Zoom platform, you can actually type in the Q&A or chat, or if you want to ask your question in person, that's fine too. We can get your microphone turned on. If you're on our other social media platforms, please post to Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and then we'll get to you. If we can't get to you live, we'll be able to respond to you after. So I'd like to wake Martin up. Hopefully he didn't fall asleep, and see if he got any questions from our audience members. So Martin, are you around?
Yes, Lance, not sleeping, been busy on the social media. I've been trying to keep up with the activity and questions there on LinkedIn and Facebook. But let me share some of the questions with you and see what you have to say. The first one we have here is, can you share some tips for identifying early signs of foundation problems in our homes or buildings? And what should we be on the lookout for, especially in regions with unique geographical or geological conditions?
Okay, that was kind of a long one, but if your house or building is on a concrete slab, you're going to look around, walk around your house or building and look for cracks in your foundation. Okay, these might not be indicative of a major foundation problem or even a foundation problem at all, but just take a look and see if you have numerous cracks and the cracks start getting wide. So a hairline crack is not too much of a concern, okay? But if the crack starts getting wide where you can start fitting, a quarter in the crack, then that's cause for concern to hire somebody to come and take a look at it. Also, look around your yard area. Okay, so if you have huge trees, mango tree, banyan tree, octopus tree, rubber tree, those tree roots can cause havoc to your foundation. So make sure that you pay attention to those. It's not wise to have huge trees too close to your house foundation. Sometimes can't help it. You bought a house, the tree was there already. So you have to be aware of those. So look for cracks, look for areas that are uneven. If your house is not on a concrete slab, but it's raised construction, post and pier, go underneath your house and look. Some of these concrete blocks may have sunk in or they're at an angle, and it's probably due to soil erosion or unstable soil. So you want to pay attention to those kind of conditions. So if you don't know what to look for, hire a home inspector or some building consultant to go walk around and take a look and see what they find. The other thing is that if you see problems, and it could be a foundation issue, have it corrected. Don't wait, right? Because it could be a lot worse. Now, the other thing is you walk around your yard, and if you see like sinkholes and all that, they, especially after a storm or heavy rain, that might not be a good thing. It could, in addition to a trip hazard, what if it just keeps sinking? And the next thing you know, the hole gets bigger, and now part of your foundation is where the hole is. And you don't want your foundation sinking. So be aware of those things. Take a look. A lot of people, they live in their house or they go to work in their building, or you're a property manager and you're not aware of what's going on. So I suggest you walk around your house, take a look at stuff, because you might see things that you never noticed before, right? Even at a building, I always encourage property managers, resident managers, site managers to do your walkthrough. Fill out an inspection report form. And if you see things that need attention, bring it up. Bring it up to the board or whoever's in charge and tell them these are things that we need to do. So if we're not going to do it now, it's on the radar. If it's a big costly item, okay, well, maybe we need to budget for that. So you can't ignore it. Now, if you wonder, well, how do I know like what stuff to look for, or what kind of form to fill out, like an inspection form? Well, you're in luck, because if you go to the website and you download the House Safe User Building, in the back, I have an inspection report form that I put in the book just for you guys. And it's not only for property managers, homeowners can use it too. So all you do is, I even put in a QR code so you can use the code, right? And then now you got an 8.5 by 11 size that you can print up as your own inspection report form. So you see, we're here to help. Hopefully that answered the question. We got others, Martin.
Yes, that was a very good answer. Thank you, Lance. The
Sure.
next question here is maybe a long one like the first. Someone has heard about different foundation repair methods, but not sure which one would be best for their particular situation. Could you explain how to determine the most suitable repair method for specific foundation issues? And are there any cost-effective options for homeowners?
Okay, well, one cost-effective option is do nothing, but then, that's not the right way to do things, right? So it's interesting, because for each house or each building, it's not uniform. Every building structure is different. So we don't know what's causing the problem. So I can't really say, all right, on a particular house, here's what you need to do. You need to put micropiles, or you need to do a soil injection, or whatever the case is. It's a case by case basis. So either myself or somebody would need to go to the location, go to the property and take a look to see what's happening, right? It may not be a foundation problem. And here's an example. I got a call. There was a house where they said, oh, we have a foundation problem because, one side of the house is like sloping and the other side isn't. And we think our house is like sinking in the ground. So I go, okay, I'll go check it out. So I drive over there, said, well, what's the problem? Go inside the house. And yeah, the floors are like drastically sloped from one part to the other. I said, oh, this isn't good. So I said, let's go underneath the house. So I go underneath the house, and guess what? We have 4x4 beams and 4x4 posts. And that side of the house that was lower, the 4x4 posts and the beams were severely eaten by termites, ground termites. And your 4x4 posts, you have a series of posts that were so eaten that they weren't even the same size anymore, right? So if you have a 4-foot post, the termites ate it and it became a 3.5-foot post. So naturally, the house is sinking because your size of your post is smaller now. Okay, so that was a problem that wasn't caused by a soil issue. It was caused by termites, ground termites. Now, another house where it was post and pier raised construction, the house was in Palolo, in the back of Palolo Valley, and they had a major soil problem. So they had adobe soil. That soil is the type where when it gets wet, it expands, and when it's dry, it contracts. So it's always moving. You have rain, you have sun, your soil is moving, drying out, expanding, and that's what the cause of the problem is. So the fix on that is uh, dig out whatever soil you can and fill it in with engineered fill, which is, better fill material than the existing soil. And when you compact it, you can get good compaction. The problem with bad soil is you can't compact it. And when you compact it, you're actually making it solid. And if you can't compact it to make it solid, then it's not a good, stable foundation, right? So I'll give you an example. If you have like soil and you put water on it and it turns to mud, right? You can't compact the mud. You can't make it solid. Just like if you go to the beach and there's an area where the sand always has water in it, it's not solid. So you can't build anything on something that's not solid. So your surface before you construct the foundation has to be solid. That's why on any new building, I always recommend you do soil testing so you know what the condition of the soil is. It makes no sense to build a house or a building on property where you don't know what the soil condition is, because you can be wasting your money. You build a house for $800,000 and you don't test the soil, and next thing you know, your house is sinking. It's not like you can repair like a roof. If the roof is a problem, you can easily fix the roof. If your foundation is a problem, how are you going to fix it? It's way harder because your building is sitting on the foundation. So access wise, it's very difficult. That's why when you get prices from foundation contractors, normally it's like a surprise, because why? How come it costs so much? Well, we can't get our equipment in. And it's always easier to build something new than it is to retrofit later and fix the problem. Okay, so hopefully that was a long drawn out answer that you got to understand. So Martin, how was that?
Yeah, it was a good one because I guess the main part of this was about cost-effective options. So the cost will depend on the problem, like you said, whether it's termites that's really causing the problem or whatever else. So that was a good answer. It's
Okay.
an individual thing, like you say. Okay, the last question I have here so far is in areas prone to heavy rainfall, moisture-related foundation problems can be a significant concern. What preventive measures can we take to protect our foundations? And there's a second part to it here. It says, do you have any advice on waterproofing or drainage systems to keep water at bay?
Okay, so it doesn't matter what type of building. It could be a house with a concrete slab or raised foundation. It could be a building. It could be a 40-story high-rise building. Okay, your drainage is critical. So, and it's very easy. So, where does the water go when it rains? Okay, if it's a house or building, where does the water go? It's like a huge storm. You want your property to slope away from your house or building. You don't want water to collect against the building. Now, if your terrain is such that you can't help it, then make sure that you have a underground drainage system where water is collecting against your property, but then you have a method to take it away from the property. Now, if you can, you create a situation where the land slopes away from your house or building. I've seen a lot of buildings where over time, through erosion and all that, now you have an area where it's sloped towards a building. So when it rains, now there's a pond collecting right next to your foundation. Now, that's not a good condition there. So you want the water to drain away. If the water's sitting there, guess what? It may cause havoc to the soil. Even if you have good soil, it may turn bad if you constantly have water sitting in the pocket there. So that's something to be cognizant of and, take a look. So my suggestion is after a heavy rain or storm, go walk around your house, walk around the building, look and see. You have any sunken areas that you need to fill in? You have water that can't drain out, then you gotta have a drainage situation constructed. Also, go up on the roof. I know we're talking about foundation, but after a storm, walk around the house, walk around your building, look at the foundation, look at the ground, look at the sides, walls, and then go on the roof and take a peek and see if there's any damage, missing shingles, right? Water damage, water sitting there collecting. These are the kind of things that you want fixed, because if it's not fixed, it's just gonna get worse, and then the cost is gonna get worse. So something that could be a $2,000 fix right away, if you let it go, it may turn into a $20,000 fix, or maybe a $200,000 fix. So I'm always say preventive measures are good. Repair as soon as you can. Don't kick the can down the road, because it's going to be more costly later. Now, if we didn't have inflation and the labor costs and the cost of materials never increase, right? Then maybe you can get away with kicking the can down the road and waiting. But that never happens, right? I guarantee you, a year from now, the cost of fixing something is going to be more than it is today. That's historic, right? So just pay attention to these things, and hopefully you can benefit from it. So Martin, we got any other comments or questions from anybody?
No other comments or questions on any of the other social media here, but no, that's good. Good information today. Great help.
Okay. Well, thank you everybody for attending, and I'd like to remind you and invite you to attend the Building Expo, and I have a great seminar. The reason why I'm saying it's great is because I put together all the information, and I have a lot of information to share that's going to be very beneficial, talking about how to work with a contractor. And everybody has contractor horror stories, right? And I'm trying to limit the contractor horrors by providing useful information to help. Even one thing that could be taken away to benefit an attendee makes me feel good, because I'm able to help people. So Martin and I will be there at the seminar. We're not going to broadcast it on social media until later. We're having it recorded and we'll put it on for you. But yeah, hopefully you can attend our next webinar, sign up, and we always have fun. We like to share information. So on behalf of Martin and I and Ask the Building Expert series, we thank you for attending. Good to see you online, even if you're not talking or posting anything to us. And we hope to see you at the next webinar series. Until then, aloha. Thank you very much. Mahalo.
Yep. See you tomorrow.
Gee, that was a fast one.